Hello everyone, and welcome back to Untold Pain Stories, the channel where you don't just listen to emotional and powerful stories, but also improve your English in a simple, natural, and real-life way. Here, every story is designed to help you understand emotions, daily expressions, and real human experiences in English. Today's story is about a young girl named Emily Carter, a 22-year-old girl from California, whose life was about to change in a way she had never imagined. This is not just a story about a wedding night. It is a story about fear, expectations, misunderstanding, emotional pressure, and the quiet discovery of understanding between two people. Emily grew up in a peaceful suburban town in California. Her life was simple and safe. She had loving parents, a small circle of friends, and a routine life where everything felt predictable. She was the kind of girl who liked clarity. She didn't like confusion. She didn't like situations where she had to guess what comes next. She believed life should always be understandable, but life doesn't always follow our expectations. Today was her wedding day. From the outside, everything looked perfect. White decorations, smiling guests, emotional family members, and a beautiful bride sitting in a decorated room. But inside Emily's heart, things were very different. There was no peace. There was no excitement. There was only anxiety, and a strange heaviness she couldn't explain. She looked at herself in the mirror again and again, as if trying to recognize the person she had become today. Her hands were slightly cold. Her heart was beating faster than normal. Her mind kept asking questions she couldn't silence. What will happen after this day? How will my life change tomorrow? Will I be able to understand a new person completely? Will I lose my old life forever? She had many questions. She had many fears. That life was about to surprise her in a way she never expected. Her husband's name was Daniel Reed. A calm, responsible man in his late 20s. They were not strangers, but they were not deeply connected either. They had met a few times before the wedding, but those meetings were formal, short, and controlled by family settings. Nothing emotional, nothing personal, and that was the real problem. Because sometimes not knowing someone is easier than partially knowing them. After the wedding ceremony ended, Emily left her family home and entered Daniel's house. Everything looked beautiful and well arranged. Warm golden lights filled the house. Flowers were placed carefully. Soft music played in the background. Guests congratulated her warmly. Smiles were everywhere. But inside Emily's heart, everything felt distant. It felt like she was entering a new world without instructions. Every step she took felt heavier than the previous one. Every smile she received felt polite but unfamiliar. Every moment felt like a countdown towards something unknown. Hours passed. Guests slowly left the house. The noise reduced. Conversations ended. And eventually, the house became silent. Too silent. And silence has a strange effect. It makes your thoughts louder. Emily sat quietly in the living room for a while, before being guided toward her new room. Her heart was already nervous, but now it was beating even faster. This was the moment she had been silently thinking about the entire day without saying it out loud. She slowly entered the room. It was beautifully decorated. Soft lighting, clean white sheets, fresh flowers placed on the side table. Everything looked peaceful and perfect. But peace outside does not always mean peace inside. Emily stood there for a few seconds, unsure of what to do. Then she slowly sat on the edge of the bed, holding her hands together tightly. She was trying to control her breathing, trying to control her thoughts, but nothing felt stable inside her mind. A few minutes later, the door opened again. Daniel entered the room. He paused for a moment, not because he was unsure, but because he noticed her nervousness immediately. Emily lowered her eyes instantly. She didn't know how to react. She didn't know what was expected of her in this moment. Daniel gently closed the door and spoke in a calm voice. "You've had a long day. You must be really tired." His tone was soft, not demanding, not strict, just calm. Emily nodded slightly. "Yes, I am a little tired." Another silence followed, but this silence was not the same as before. Earlier, silence felt heavy and scary. Now it felt uncertain but not dangerous. Daniel didn't rush toward her. He didn't create pressure. Instead, he walked slowly toward the window and stood there, giving her space. Emily noticed this, and it confused her a little, because everything she had imagined about this moment was different. She had expected pressure, expectations, or emotional intensity, but reality was calmer, almost unexpectedly respectful. After a few moments, Daniel spoke again without turning around. "If you're uncomfortable, don't worry. We don't need to rush anything. We have time." These words hit Emily's mind differently. She finally looked up at him properly, because this was not what she expected to hear. In her mind, she had prepared herself for pressure, but instead she received patience. And patience is something the heart doesn't reject easily. Emily didn't respond immediately. She just stayed quiet. But something inside her started shifting. The fear was still there, but it was no longer controlling her completely. Minutes passed slowly. The room remained quiet. Daniel sat on a chair near the window, maintaining respectful distance. He wasn't trying to force conversation. He wasn't trying to rush emotional connection. He was simply allowing time to do its work. And for Emily, that was new, because she realized something important in that moment sometimes. Comfort is not about words or actions, but about the absence of pressure. Later that night, Emily changed into simple clothes and lay down on the bed. She still kept distance between them. Daniel turned off the main light and left only a small lamp on, creating a soft, warm atmosphere. Before sleeping, he simply said, "Good night." No expectations, no demands, no emotional pressure. Just two simple words. Emily lay awake for a long time. Her eyes were open, staring at the ceiling. Her mind was still processing everything that had happened. This was not the night she had imagined. It was not dramatic. It was not overwhelming. It was something completely different. It was calm. And strangely, calm felt more powerful than fear. Slowly, she started realizing something. Maybe not every unknown situation is dangerous. Maybe fear is often bigger in imagination than reality. Maybe understanding takes time. And that's okay. That night didn't give her answers, but it gave her something more important: space to think, space to breathe, and space to understand. When morning came, soft sunlight entered the room. Emily slowly opened her eyes. For a moment, she forgot where she was. Then reality returned. New house, new life, new beginning. Daniel was already awake, sitting near the window with a cup of coffee. He looked peaceful and composed, like someone who believed in patience rather than pressure. He looked at her and said softly, "Good morning." Emily adjusted herself and replied, "Good morning." A simple exchange. No drama, no intensity, just reality. But sometimes, simple moments are the beginning of something meaningful. That morning, Emily didn't wake up with fear. She woke up with understanding. And understanding is always the first step toward connection. And this is where today's story connects back to Untold Pain Stories. This channel is not just about storytelling. It is about emotions that we all feel in different stages of life: fear of the unknown, pressure of expectations, and the quiet moments where life teaches us lessons without shouting. Through these stories, you don't just improve your English. You learn how real people think, feel, and express emotions in real-life situations. So if you are new here, make sure to subscribe to Untold Pain Stories. Because here, every story is more than just words. It is an emotional experience, a way to learn English through life, feelings, and reality. We'll meet again in the next story. Until then, take care and keep learning with emotions. Goodbye for now.